The courtroom at Los Angeles Superior Court fell into stunned silence when Maria Santos was wheeled through the doors. 29 years old, she lay motionless in a specialized medical transport bed, a feeding tube in her stomach, a ventilator breathing for her, her eyes open but unseeing. Her father, Robert Santos, 58, a plumber with calloused hands and tears streaming down his face, walked beside the bed. Her mother, Carmen, 56, a grocery store cashier, held her daughter's limp hand, whispering prayers in Spanish. Maria had been a kindergarten teacher, past tense. Had been. Now she was a body kept alive by machines, her brain so severely damaged that she would never think, speak, or recognize her parents again. The doctors called it a persistent vegetative state. Her parents called it a living nightmare. Across the courtroom sat Dr. Marcus Ashford, 49, celebrity plastic surgeon to the stars. He wore a custom Tom Ford suit that cost $8,400, Berluti leather shoes at $2,100, and a Patek Philippe watch worth $180,000. His perfectly styled hair, his Botox smooth forehead, his veneered smile, everything about him screamed wealth and success. He scrolled through his phone, seemingly bored, as if the destroyed life 15 feet away from him was merely an inconvenience. Behind him sat 8 attorneys from Sterling & Associates, specialists in defending medical malpractice cases for high-profile doctors. Their lead counsel, Victoria Sterling, commanded $2,800 per hour and had a reputation for destroying plaintiffs on cross-examination. But today, they faced Judge Frank Caprio. Before we dive into what happened in that courtroom, if you believe in justice and want to support a new channel dedicated to sharing these powerful stories, please hit that subscribe button and like this video. Every subscription helps us bring more of Judge Caprio's wisdom to light. Judge Caprio entered, and everyone rose, except Maria, who would never rise again. At 79, with 37 years on the bench, Caprio had seen medical malpractice before. But the case file before him, Case 2024 CV 7423, had made him physically sick when he'd read it. What he'd found represented the absolute worst of human greed. "This court is now in session," he said quietly. "Case number 2024 CV 7423, Robert and Carmen Santos versus Dr. Marcus Ashford. The Santos family alleges gross negligence, fraud, and assault, resulting in catastrophic injury." Victoria Sterling stood immediately. "Your Honor, Dr. Ashford is one of the most respected plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills. He's performed over 15,000 procedures. He has 640,000 Instagram followers. This lawsuit threatens not just my client's reputation, but the practice of cosmetic surgery itself. What happened to Ms. Santos was a tragic but unpredictable complication." Judge Caprio's expression didn't change. "A 29-year-old woman is permanently brain dead. You're calling that a complication?" "A tragic complication, Your Honor, but not negligence." "We'll see," Caprio said coldly. "Mr. Santos, tell me what happened." Robert Santos stood, his voice shaking. "Your Honor, my daughter Maria was a kindergarten teacher. She loved her kids. She saved for 3 years to afford breast augmentation, $8,500. Every penny. She researched surgeons for months. Dr. Ashford's Instagram showed hundreds of beautiful results. She thought she'd be safe." Carmen Santos took over, her English heavily accented. "June 14th, surgery at 10 a.m. We dropped her off at 8:30. She hugged us. She said, 'See you in a few hours.' Those were the last words our daughter ever spoke. At 11:47 a.m., we got a call. Complications. She'd been rushed to Cedars-Sinai. Cardiac arrest on the operating table. Her heart stopped for 8 minutes. 8 minutes without oxygen. Our daughter's brain was gone. What's left is just a body that breathes." Little did anyone know what had happened in that operating room. Carmen pulled out a folder. What we found, Your Honor, is that Dr. Ashford killed our daughter to save money. Dr. Ashford sighed audibly, rolling his eyes. Judge Caprio saw it. Dr. Ashford, a woman's parents are describing their daughter's death. Is something amusing? Ashford straightened. Your Honor, Ms. Santos isn't dead. She's alive. What happened was an extremely rare reaction to anesthesia, 1 in 200,000 procedures. It's tragic, but it's medicine, not criminal. We'll determine what it is, Caprio said. Mr. Santos, what did your investigation reveal? Robert's attorney, David Chen, stood. Your Honor, Dr. Ashford has been purchasing expired anesthesia from black market suppliers for 4 years. The propofol used on Maria had an expiration date of November 2023. Maria's surgery was June 14, 2024. 7 months expired. The courtroom gasped. Carmen broke down, sobbing. Expired anesthesia? Caprio's voice was ice. Dr. Ashford, is this true? Yes, the medication was past its printed expiration date, but pharmaceutical expiration dates are largely arbitrary. Studies show most medications remain effective for years past expiration. FDA guidelines are overly cautious. So you knowingly used expired medication on my daughter? Robert shouted. To save money. Order! Caprio banged his gavel. Dr. Ashford, where did you purchase this expired medication? A medical supply reseller. Not a licensed pharmaceutical distributor? The reseller offered significant cost savings. How much did you save? Approximately $40,000 per year. The courtroom erupted. Carmen screamed, $40,000? You destroyed my daughter for $40,000? Order, Caprio's voice shook. You saved $40,000 per year by purchasing expired medication from black market suppliers. David Chen stood. Your Honor, while Dr. Ashford saved $40,000 annually on medication, he spent $4.8 million on luxury vehicles in those same years. He owns 12 luxury cars. A Ferrari SF90 worth $420,000. A Lamborghini Aventador worth $512,000. A Rolls-Royce Phantom worth $490,000. He also owns a yacht worth $2.3 million. His Instagram, with 640,000 followers, is filled with photos of his cars, his yacht, his luxury lifestyle. While Maria Santos saved $8,500 over 3 years, he was buying his 11th and 12th sports cars. If Judge Caprio's compassion moves you, like it moves millions of others, show your support by subscribing to our channel. We're just starting out, and your subscription means everything. Dr. Ashford, Caprio said, you saved $40,000 per year while spending $4.8 million on luxury cars. Is that correct? My personal finances are irrelevant. Answer the question. Ashford's face reddened. I worked hard for my money. I deserve to enjoy it. What I spend doesn't change the fact that the anesthesia was safe. Expiration dates are meaningless. If they're meaningless, why did Maria's heart stop? Dr. Chen, what else did your investigation reveal? We obtained testimony from Dr. Elizabeth Morrison, Chief of Anesthesiology at Cedars-Sinai. Dr. Morrison? A woman in her 50s stood. Your Honor, I treated Maria when she arrived. Cardiac arrest during routine cosmetic procedures in healthy young patients is extraordinarily rare. Less than 1 in 200,000. Something went very wrong. Chemical analysis showed the expired propofol had degraded significantly. Degraded propofol can cause irregular heart rhythms and cardiac arrest. In my professional opinion, the expired medication directly caused Maria's cardiac arrest. Fresh propofol would not have caused this. Furthermore, we reviewed Dr. Ashford's records for 4 years. 17 other patients experienced unusual complications. all at rates 8 times higher than national averages. The expired medications were causing problems long before Maria. She was simply the unlucky one, where it became catastrophic. David Chen continued. We obtained emails between Dr. Ashford and his supplier. In May 2023, he wrote, "The last batch was only 4 months past expiration. I need better pricing. Can you get me supplies 6 to 9 months expired? I'll pay 55% of retail instead of 60. In March 2024, he wrote, "One patient had a bad reaction last week. Had to send her to Cedars. Make sure the next batch isn't too far past expiration. I can't afford another ER transfer. It raises questions." He knew the expired medication was causing problems. He knew patients were getting hurt. And his response wasn't to stop. It was to find a balance between how expired they were and how much money he could save. What the judge discovered next shocked everyone. We have testimony from Sarah Kim, a former surgical nurse. "Ms. Kim?" A young woman stood. "I worked for Dr. Ashford for 2 years. In late 2022, I noticed the anesthesia supplies were expired. When I raised concerns, he said expiration dates were suggestions. He said if I had a problem, I could find another job. I saw 3 patients have serious complications: irregular heartbeat, severe allergic reaction, stopped breathing. All rushed to ERs. Dr. Ashford told us to document them as rare reactions and never mention expiration dates. When I continued raising concerns, he fired me. He fired 2 other nurses for the same reason. Anyone who questioned the medications was terminated." Dr. Ashford stood, composure gone. "Those nurses were incompetent. The medications were safe. I perform over 600 procedures per year. One complication is a statistical inevitability. You can't hold me responsible for statistics." "Statistics?" Robert stood, shaking. "My daughter is not a statistic. She saved for 3 years. She trusted you. And you put expired poison in her veins to save money for your 12th Ferrari." Bailiffs restrained Robert. The courtroom descended into chaos. "Order!" Caprio banged his gavel. "Dr. Ashford, you knowingly purchased expired medication from black market suppliers. You used it on patients who believed they were receiving safe care. When employees raised concerns, you fired them. When patients had complications, you covered it up. And when Maria Santos went into cardiac arrest, you destroyed her brain, her life, her future. And through all of this, you spent $4.8 million on luxury cars." He held up printouts. "I have your Instagram. June 20th, 6 days after you destroyed Maria's life, you posted a photo of your new Ferrari. Caption, number 12 in the collection. Life is good. Work hard, play hard." You posted this while Maria lay brain dead. July 8th, from your yacht. "Surgery money well spent, living the dream." You posted this while Maria's parents learned how to operate her feeding tube. August 3rd, in a private jet. Another successful week. 600 procedures a year means 600 opportunities to change lives. You posted this while her parents were bankrupting themselves on her medical care. The courtroom was silent except for Carmen's sobs. "Mr. Chen," Caprio said quietly, "show me the video." David Chen set up a laptop. "Your Honor, this video was recorded yesterday at the Santos home. It shows Maria's daily care." The courtroom watched as Carmen gently cleaned Maria's feeding tube, speaking softly to her daughter, who would never respond. Robert adjusted her position to prevent bed sores, tears streaming down his face. The machines beeped rhythmically, the only sound Maria would ever make again. "This is our life now," Carmen's voice came from the video. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Forever. Our daughter is gone, but her body remains. We feed her through a tube. We bathe her. We turn her to prevent sores. We watch her eyes stare at nothing. Medical costs are $18,000 per month. We've depleted our savings. We've taken second jobs. We've sold our house. And we'll do this until she dies, which could be 30 years from now. 30 years of caring for a body that holds no trace of our daughter. The video ended. Multiple jurors were crying. Even Victoria Sterling looked down, unable to meet anyone's eyes. Dr. Ashford, Caprio said, his voice shaking with rage. The Santos family now spends $18,000 per month keeping their daughter's body alive. That's $216,000 per year. You saved $40,000 per year by using expired drugs. In less than 3 months, the Santos family will have spent more on Maria's care than you saved in an entire year. And they'll spend that amount every year for the rest of Maria's life, while you drive your 12 luxury cars. He stood. In my 37 years on this bench, I've seen greed. I've seen negligence. But rarely have I seen someone so completely devoid of human decency. You traded a woman's brain for pocket change so you could buy another sports car. Here is my ruling. The courtroom held its breath. Dr. Marcus Ashford, you are found guilty of gross negligence, fraud, and assault with great bodily harm. Using expired medication on unwitting patients constitutes assault. The catastrophic injury you caused elevates this to a criminal matter. You are sentenced to 15 years in state prison. No early release, no house arrest. Prison. Dr. Ashford's face went white. Victoria Sterling stood to object, but Caprio held up his hand. Furthermore, all 12 of your luxury vehicles are hereby seized and will be sold at auction. The proceeds, approximately $4.8 million, will be placed in a trust fund administered by the court for Maria Santos's lifetime medical care. Your medical license is permanently revoked in the state of California. You will never practice medicine again. Additionally, you are ordered to pay $25 million in compensatory and punitive damages to the Santos family. This will be paid from your personal assets, including your yacht, your vacation properties, and your investment accounts. Your Ashford Aesthetics Clinic will be shut down permanently. The California Medical Board will conduct a full investigation of every procedure you performed in the past 4 years. Every patient will be notified. Any additional victims will be compensated from your remaining assets. He leaned forward, his voice hard. You wanted to save $40,000 per year. That greed cost you everything: your freedom, your career, your wealth, your legacy. You posted on Instagram that life is good, that you work hard and play hard. Well, Dr. Ashford, for the next 15 years, your life will consist of a prison cell. No Ferrari, no yacht, no private jets, just consequences. Maria Santos was a kindergarten teacher who saved for 3 years to afford 1 surgery. She trusted you with her life. And you traded her brain for a discount on expired drugs so you could buy luxury cars. His voice rose. Money can buy 12 Ferraris. It can buy yachts and private jets and vacation homes. But it cannot buy basic human decency. It cannot buy integrity. And it cannot buy your way out of prison when your greed destroys an innocent woman's life. Justice cannot have 2 standards. One for celebrity surgeons and one for kindergarten teachers. In this courtroom, the great equalizer, Maria Santos's life matters just as much as your luxury lifestyle. More, actually, because she earned her money honestly. You earned yours by poisoning patients. The courtroom erupted in applause. Robert and Carmen held each other, crying with relief. Maria lay motionless, unaware that justice had finally been served. If this story touched your heart, if you believe judges like Frank Caprio represent the best of our justice system, please support our new channel by subscribing and liking this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear that justice and compassion can coexist. Comment below with your city. Let's build a community that believes in fairness for all. Dr. Marcus Ashford is currently serving his 15-year sentence at California State Prison. His 12 luxury cars were auctioned, raising $4.9 million. His yacht, properties, and investments were liquidated, totaling $28.3 million, all placed in Maria's care trust. The California Medical Board investigation uncovered 32 additional victims who experienced complications from expired medications. All received compensation. Ashford Aesthetics was permanently closed. His Instagram account, once boasting 640,000 followers, was deleted. Maria Santos is now 30 years old. She remains in a persistent vegetative state, cared for by her parents 24 hours a day. The trust fund covers her medical expenses. Robert and Carmen Santos quit their jobs to care for their daughter full-time. They visit her every day, talk to her, play music, show her photos of her kindergarten students. She doesn't respond. She never will. But they do it anyway, because she's still their daughter, even if the person she was is gone forever. The case led to California passing the Maria Santos Patient Safety Act, legislation requiring surgical facilities to maintain detailed records of medication sources and expiration dates, with monthly inspections and severe penalties for violations. Black market medical supply sales now carry mandatory minimum sentences. Judge Caprio, when asked about the harsh sentence, said simply, "Compassion isn't an exception to justice, it's the purpose. But compassion for victims requires accountability for those who harm them." Dr. Ashford chose luxury cars over patient safety. He gambled with people's lives to buy toys. Maria Santos lost that gamble. He deserved to lose everything. Maria Santos will never teach kindergarten again, will never buy that house, will never have the family she dreamed of. Her parents will never hear her voice again, never see her smile, never receive another hug. All because a wealthy surgeon wanted to save $40,000 per year so he could buy his 12th Ferrari. But Maria's story did something powerful. It exposed how greed can corrupt even healing professions. It showed that wealth doesn't grant immunity from consequences. It proved that sometimes, not always, but sometimes, the system protects the vulnerable instead of the powerful. Dr. Marcus Ashford thought he was untouchable, thought his Instagram followers and celebrity clients made him special, thought rules didn't apply to people like him. He was wrong. And Maria Santos, kindergarten teacher, dreamer, daughter, now a living reminder of what happens when greed replaces humanity, stands as proof that in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, justice prevailed. Not because Maria was powerful, but because she mattered. And that was enough.